Hi guys, this is Rafa. I'm making this video to share my experience. I was diagnosed with esophageal cancer a little bit more than 30 days ago, and I came to Houston for treatment. And I'm doing the treatment with MD Anderson, and my experience so far was really great. And this is the treatment plan. They prepared for me basically 5.5 weeks, and it has radiation and chemotherapy. Chemotherapy 5 days a week. I have an infusion that's done on Mondays, and then I receive a pump, and I keep the pump for 5 days, and I disconnect on Friday. Then I rest during the weekend, and on Monday everything starts again. This is my 14th day of treatment, and so far I felt amazingly, and I heard different type of stories, and I thought that I could share my experience in some way. It could give some tip for someone, and that could be helpful somehow. One thing I noticed, I had the need to stay as an inpatient for a few days because I had an infection. And I've been experiencing some difficulty swallowing now after the treatment started. And many people have a hard time eating, and I'm being able to eat almost everything. Something I can share that's very hard for me, and I stopped eating, is beef and proteins in general. Sometimes I try to have fish or chicken, but it's still not very comfortable to swallow that. And many people can't eat at all, and I can imagine that's very difficult. And one thing I'm doing right now is first to find motivation. I believe if you have a motivation in mind, things can be easier to get through. And in my case, I had to chew my food for a long period of time. So yeah, I can take 2 hours to almost 3 hours eating a meal. And when I have a bite, I don't know, I haven't counted before, but sometimes I'm chewing for 10, 15 minutes, and it's tiresome. At the same time, I think it's an opportunity for me to be patient. So I keep doing on that, thinking there is a purpose. At the same time, I take very, very tiny portions of the bite I took from the meal to swallow while the whole bite is inside of my mouth. And I wait for that to be very, very moist. And while I'm swallowing that small portion of the bite, I wait for that to go down slowly and settle down. And that gave me the impression that almost everything can be eaten. It's harder when I'm doing that with chicken, for example. The texture is not very friendly to pass through the esophagus. And when I'm drinking, I do something very similar. I take a sip, I keep the fluid in my mouth, then I move around to get the temperature to be equal my mouth's temperature, and I keep the fluids in the back of my mouth, and I allow just a very tiny portion to go down. And the process is time consuming, but the level of pain many times is almost zero, and that's been helping me a lot. And hopefully this can be useful to someone out there as well. Thank you.